Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 19th of August. The first news, that is Prime Minister urged G20 nations to open innovations for public goods. Second, that is India's first 3D printing post office has been inaugurated in Bengaluru. Third, summit to bolster security in the Pacific region will see the collaboration that is between United States, Japan, and South Korea. Another news, that is student suicide cases to ragging related to the death of the cases that has been reported in the campuses. And the last is an editorial meditation bill and incomplete settlement. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for your examination, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is Prime Minister urges G20 nations to open innovations for public goods. Something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So recently, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, has actually made a virtual address to G20 Health Minister meet. And Prime Minister has urged G20 nations to facilitate an equitable applicable of the part technology and also appeal them to open for the innovation for public good. So he has categorically highlighted that there should be an equitable availability of technology ताकि हर एक लोगों के साथ और हर एक लोगों के पास accessibility हो technology की, and also appeal them to call for innovations in public goods. See, public good is in general has a wide ambit, right? So health, general public opinions, and even for part of infrastructure, accessibility, इसकी दायरे काफी बड़े हैं, and the public good things are precisely that is essentially required for a developed and developing countries. और G20 के इस vertical में health पे खासा ध्यान दी गई. Now, the Prime Minister called for opening the innovations for public goods, avoiding the duplications of funding to facilitate the equitable availability of the technology, right? The Prime Minister has also said that the initiative will allow countries of the global south to close the gap in the healthcare delivery and will take one step closer to achieve our goal of universal health coverage. Now, universal health coverage post-COVID has become more significant, and at the global order, it has taken a due importance. So for General Studies Paper 2, specifically in mains examination, आप expect कर सकते हैं कि कुछ इससे related questions आपसे पूछे जा सके. Now, eradicating tuberculosis, this is something which Prime Minister has categorically talked about. So India informed G20 members that India will eradicate the tuberculosis well before the deadline to help the people participations. India ने 2030 तक की target set की है to achieve and eradicate the part of tuberculosis. The government has called upon the people of the country to be a niksha, mitra or friend for eradications of the tuberculosis. Under this, nearly 1 million patients has been adopted by the citizen. Now, if you look at the part where the cases that is reported, as you know that India has a maximum number of tuberculosis patients. So this is the data, like 27% of the total population of the tuberculosis is from India, followed by China, Indonesia, Philippines, Pakistan, Niger, Bangladesh, South Africa, and rest of the other country, right? So India still dominate when it comes to the part of tuberculosis patient. Now, roadmap की अगर बात करें, what actually the Prime Minister has talked about and how India would be looking for its vision. Basically, during this meeting, the Prime Minister called that we must read to prevent the part of where the next possible health emergency is likely to happen. तो हमें जो next possible COVID अगर हो सकती है उससे हमें बचने की ज़रूरत है. एनी emergency situations we need to be hand on prepare. Prevention is something which will always help. तो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स पे बात की गई है, फ्यूचर रेडी होने की बात की गई है फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ पेंडेमिक दैट कैन टेक प्लेस. Now, underlining the health and environment, he has particularly talked about the organic things to be linked. The Prime Minister said that clean air, safe water, sufficient nutrition, secure shelter are the major factors of a good health. Now, he congratulated the dignitaries for the steps that has taken during the launch of the climate and health initiative. So this time during G20 health पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा meeting हुई है, almost 2 to 3 meetings were there, and this will definitely help to build a strong foundations at the global level and to ensure that each and every member countries are working towards the part of policy which is working for the health sector. Now, the Prime Minister said that we need to address the part of antimicrobial resistance, which are also commendable. The progress has also been made in this regard. And G20 Health Working Group has prioritized One Health, One Vision and One Earth. अगर One Health की बात करें उसमें One Vision for One Earth and One Health की बात की गई है. The establishment of WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar is one of the initiative which India has actually come up to show its inclinations towards the part of universalizations and making things more affordable for the people. Now, moving to the other news, India's first 3D printed post office inaugurated, something important for Gender Studies paper 3, that is Achievement of India in Science and Technology, Indianization of Technology and Development of New Technology. So 3D printing was there in news, but this is something a good news for India, that India's first 3D post office was virtually inaugurated in Bengaluru Cambridge layout. So this is the actual image of this post office which is located at the spot called Cambridge layout, right? And this was built using 3D printing. तो 3D printing की मदद से इसे developed की गई है, and definitely this part of technology will further enhance and it will have a escalation its level. Construction की अगर बात करें, it was completed in just 43 days, which is again something astonishing and really proud for India. And ahead of the deadline, it was completed by a company called Larsen and Turbo Limited. So the construction of the post office has received the technological support from IIT Madras. उनकी जो civil engineering के department है, उन्होंने मदद की थी for the part of construction. Now, about 3D printing, there are a lot of companies and new startup coming from basically they're devising their efforts in 3D printing. So 3D printing is known for an additive manufacturing. It's a process that uses computer-based design, 3-dimensional object layer बनाए जाते हैं, and layer by layer this is being developed using printing machines, right? So the additive process, which layers the part of material, plastics, composites, biomaterial, used to construct the range, shape and size, rigidity and color accordingly. सारी चीजें, I mean, you get a ready-made part of things and it is just installed at a location. Now, how is 3D printing done? Just to give you the basic procedures, how it is followed. So to carry out the part of 3D printing, the personal computer is connected to a 3D printer, right? If you want to get more idea, आप कोई भी एक videos देख सकते हैं YouTube पे. Because of copyright issue, I cannot place video over here. So you can check that video. I mean, that will help you to get an idea that how actually the 3D printer works. Now, this model, 3D model, is required to बेसिकली कनेक्ट विद कंप्यूटर ऑब्जेक्ट, और इसमें डिज़ाइन दी जाती है कैट की मदद से, कंप्यूटर एडेड डिज़ाइन, और सिर्फ प्रिंट करनी होती है एंड द एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट इज बीइंग देयर, राइट? इट इज़ नॉट समथिंग दैट इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ अ मशीन, इट्स अ ह्यूज मशीन दैट एक्चुअली मेक द थिंग्स, राइट? 3D printer does the rest of this job once the command is given by the operator. Now 3D printer construct the desired object using layering method, which complete the subtract printing process. Notably, the machines are capable of printing anything from ordinary objects, ball, balloon, the part of spoon, moving it from the hangers and wheel. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे objects हैं. It's up to your choice. Whatever data that has been given by the CAD model will be easily printed by the machine. Now, notable example of 3D printers की अगर बात करें, it is mostly used in the healthcare sectors, automobiles, aerospace, and in this year May, aerospace manufacturing company Relatively, space have launched a rocket made entirely from 3D printer part, measuring 100 feet tall and 7.5 feet wide. Shortly after it take off, it suffered from a failure. It's never a failure, it's always a learning. तो उसके बाद इंडिया और प्रोग्रेस करेगी कि किस तरह से जो वेरियस सेक्टर्स हैं उसमें 3D प्रिंटिंग्स को और ज़्यादा इनकॉर्पोरेट किया जाएगा. जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल, what are the things that can be made? So you can see these are the actual product that has been printed using the 3D printer. So these are the tangible object that you can touch. Now, moving ahead with other news, a summit to bolster security in the Pacific region, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries. The United States President, Mr. Joe Biden, has actually opened a historic summit with Japan, South Korea at David Camp recently to ensure that Indo-Pacific, which is again a priority for United States and even for India, it should have a neutral approach and the China's dominance need to be curbed up. The summit focused on strengthening the security and economic ties, with a time where increasing concern is there about the North Korea persistent nuclear threat and China's provocations in the Pacific. तो दोनों countries की जो concern है उसको global order पे लाने की बात की गई and something that will be helping out these two countries. Now, new security pledge. The US, Japan, South Korea have agreed to the new security pledge, committing the three countries to consult with each other in the event of security crisis threat to the Pacific. The partnership for the vision of Indo-Pacific called for free, open, secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. And even to highlight the point, if you are writing in mains paper, आप इंडिया के बारे में जरूर highlight करें. India has been advocating for the part of free, prosperous and secure Indo-Pacific region. Now, under the pledge, three countries have agreed to consult their share and align their message with each other. And जो threats हैं उनको खत्म करने की बात की गई है. The leaders also likely to discuss the long-running territorial conflict in the disputed South China Sea, which involve China, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei. Now, South China Sea was always there in news for like couple of years. तो आप इसके map पर जरूर देख लें. This can be relevant for the prelims examination. Now, moving ahead, student suicide cases due to ragging related in the campuses. क्या ऐसे death cases report किए गए due to ragging. Now, an RTI was filed. The UGC has come up with a reply. Something important for general studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So in a reply to the right to information query, which was filed by an RTI activist, University Grant Commission, better known as UGC, they have come up with a reply और उन्होंने बताया है कि पिछले 5 सालों में almost 5.5 years 25 students have died due to suicide which was subject to the ragging, right? Now, of these 25 cases, 8 were reported in 2018, 2 were reported in 2019, and 2 were reported in 2020, and 4 reported in 2022, and 9 reported in 2023. So you can see the number is increasing. The possible reason is not yet known, but the suicide cases has been reported from some of the reputed institutions in our country. Now, just to give you an idea, कितने cases report किए गए हैं different institutions से. So these are the data. Like from IIT Guwahati, it was 14, IIT Madras 7, IIT Bombay 7, IIT Kharagpur 5, IIT Hyderabad 5, IIT Delhi 4. So these are the together part, not for this particular combined. अगर बात करें पिछले 5 सालों में ये number है different IITs की. And there can be several reasons. I mean, academic pressure is among one. Other than that, family pressure issues, student की poor language or communication skill or systematic bias towards some of the student is the possible reason for the number of suicides. Now, reports on death cases की अगर बात करें, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu have reported 4 deaths, followed by Odisha with 3. Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana have been reported with 2 deaths each. Now, the other cases that was reported in the state of Tamil Nadu, that was reported in Chennai, 2 from Indian Institute of Technology Madras, that is IIT Madras, followed by Jaya Govind Harigopal Agarwal Agrasen College, and 4 suicides were reported from the government medical college in Thoothukudi district, right? So these were some of the cases that were reported. Now, anti-ragging helpline government ने बनाई है. The UGC chairman has said that UGC has maintained a dedicated 24/7 anti-ragging helpline, and UGC anti-ragging serve as a bridge between the student and the educational authorities. The report of complaints received through the helpline are escalating to the appropriate authorities for timely actions. Right. Now, distress call की अगर बात करें, the numbers is again on the higher side. The UGC get informations from the helpline of the types assistance required by student and those related to the distress call. Issues of student suicide is a complex and multifaceted challenge. UGC regulations on curbing the menace of ragging and higher education institutions, जहाँ पे ये देखी गई है that the mandate for all institutions to provide ragging and avoid such extreme steps need to be taken. तो उसके अलावा गवर्नमेंट ने ई संजीवनी और संजीवनी की अगर बात करें सोसाइटी फॉर मेडिकल हेल्थ सुसाइड प्रिवेंशन के लिए नंबर रिलीज किए हैं दैट विल हेल्प. If you know someone who is actually facing some problem, you can help them out by providing this number so that they can reach out to the proper grievances. Now, moving ahead with the editorial of the day, Mediation Bill and Incomplete Settlement, something important for General Studies Paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial is about the Mediation Bill 2021, the settlement via meditations, technical flaws, online and community meditations, basically जो mediations हैं उसके बारे में बात करेंगे and the way forward. So under this article focuses on the part for the Mediations Bill 2021, which was introduced in Rajya Sabha way back in 2021, और aim थी इस bill की to encourage and regulate the practice of mediations and reduce the burden of the courts. जिस तरह से court functions कर रही है, we already know that the court, whether it is lower court, whether it is high court or it is supreme court, they are piled on with a number of cases. Now, out of court settlement के लिए mediations एक ऐसी options है जहाँ पे resolutions को आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है. The bill seeks to institutionalize the part of mediations, to establish the Mediation Council of India, recognize the mediation service provided to regulate the mediators. Now, this recognition and enforcement settlement of the agreement is arising out of the mediation is a welcome move. This will also help to reduce the pendency cases and not even reaching out to the court for the part of settlement. Now, there's an also part of things that is aligned with commitment. India की अगर बात करें, India is signatory to the Convention of International Settlement resulting from the mediation, that is Singapore Conventions. Now, settlement via mediations की अगर बात करें, इस बिल में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ों को हाईलाइट की गई है. The bill require person and try to settle the civil and commercial disputes through mediations before approaching any court or tribunal. Apart from the withdrawal from mediations after 2 mediation sessions, 2 mediations हो गई तो बेसिकली वहाँ तक रेजोल्यूशंस के लिए देखी जा सकती है. अगर उसके बाद बात नहीं बनती देन दे कैन रीच आउट टू द कोर्ट, राइट. तो इस मेडिएशंस को कंप्लीट करने के लिए 180 डेज रखी गई थी, राइट, एंड इट कैन बी एक्सटेंडेड फर्दर. बट बाद में जो नई बिल आई उसके रिकमेंडेशंस में कैबिनेट कमेटी ने ये कहा था कि इसे 180 डेज से 90 डेज करने की जरूरत है. नाउ, टेक्निकल फ्लॉज थे इस कुछ बिल में मेडिएशंस 2021. सो देयर आर सम टेक्निकल फ्लॉज. फॉर इंस्टेंसेस अगर क्लॉज 8 की बात करें, the bill entitles a party to move before the commencement during the mediations for interim relief for an exceptional circumstances. क्या कर सकते हैं? The term exceptional circumstances is only undefined in the bill, but it has also an anonymous जहाँ पे settled जो principle है, basically seeking the interim relief before the civil court and establishing the prima facie cases, balancing the convenience and irreparable injury. Moreover, no remedy of appeal against the order was under the purpose of this section. तो कुछ exceptional circumstances की जो definitions हैं, that is completely part of the vagueness exist, which will definitely create problem for the final executions. Now, under the arbitrations regime, it provide for an appellate recourse. Online and community mediations is something that is another way out. So the bill introduced the concept of online and community mediations. Recently, Niti Aayog report has revealed that only 55% of India have access to internet and only 27% pose compatible device. Now, for online mediations to be successful, they need to have a scale or bandwidth accessibility to remove the part from the country. Setting up a legal aid access to justice clinics with adequate IT infrastructure could also address the issue. For the community mediations, the bill makes it mandatory to have a panel for 3 mediators. And this requirement is unnecessary and impose the flexibility that mediations bring. Now, to the way forward, the standing committee has actually come up with the recommendations that government-related dispute to be included in the bill, or committee in a litigant scope that the government can also act as an advisory before the laws, right? But again, mediation is something that will provide a proper resolution, reducing the burden of the honorable courts. The bill provide an opportunity to the government to change the perception. This could not only have an inspired confidence among the stakeholder, but also will help reducing the pendency backlog. That is what I talked at the beginning and at the end. Mediation should be prompted and preferred as a volunteer mode for securing justice with regards to dispute that is emerging from any vertical, whether it is a part of dispute coming from the corporate houses, legal entities, medical houses, किसी भी तरह के litigants अगर हैं तो वो mediations के through अपने resolutions को देख सकते हैं, and both parties will be implementing the award that will be given by the mediation. So the mediation in India will definitely have an alternate form of resolutions and earliest resolutions that can be given. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second question, the correct option was B. Today's MCQ for practice. Oceansat satellite. It's a part of the Earth Observatory satellite launched by Indian Space Research Organization. Oceansat satellite faced the part of applications including documenting chlorophyll concentration, phytoplankton blooms. अभी रिसेंटली इसरो ने चंद्रयान भी लॉन्च किया, तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आपके एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बिकम रेलेवेंट एंड यू कैन प्रैक्टिस दिस टू गिव पार्ट ऑफ द कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी. Now the second is about the ILO. For many government examination, the question has been repeated. An individual agency's mandate to advance the socio-economic justice by setting the international labor standard. It was created in 1919 as a part of Treaty of Versailles. So do check out for the correct options. Practicing a lot more current affair question will give you an edge over the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other queries, concern about the test series, admissions, courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching.